Greetings and welcome, everyone. I am Dr. Wolf, and today I am joined by quite a few people who came to Crystal Mountain PonyCon not too long ago, and we actually decided one night we really wanted to see a particular movie, one that really got us in the nostalgia fields. Christopher Robin. But before we get into that today, I would like to introduce a few of our guests, starting with Miss Aramau. You want to say hi, Ari?
Hi, Ari.
And of course, her fiance, Mr. Josh Scorcher.
Hello.
And then we have Lightning Bliss.
He won't stop playing battleships in the background. I am sorry.
Oh, speaking of her husband Lars, I assume. And then we have Mr. Silver Quill.
Where do you think this stuff with fluff feels into the evolution scale? I propose dissection for science.
And then we have EG Studios.
Hello, everyone.
And finally, we have Fiora, the tank girl, was it?
And
Yes.
she just muted.
Oh, just muted.
I was,
You know, I thought I was muted the whole time. I apologize for the rampant typing. I was literally fixing the bridge as it was breaking.
Oh.
Hi, everyone. I'm Fiora. I sometimes have to program entire AEXE bridges for my operating system in like 10 minutes.
Well,
Princess of
is very
Explosions!
yes.
I don't want the explosion
And
this time!
And lightning blare.
Welcome to Fiora, the abridged series.
well, we all managed to see a deeply touching movie that we all felt, you know, we should really talk about this because it actually does quite a bit more than just hit you in the nostalgia feels. So our moderator, Miss Aramau, is going to be taking the floor and giving each of us a chance to tell what we thought most about this film.
Alrighty, so little backstory. Second that this got announced, I was like, I need to see this. Because Winnie the Pooh is basically my nostalgic kryptonite. And I knew I was going to cry, so I knew I had to see it with Josh. And then it turned into let's bring all our friends at CMPC to it. And so we all went out the day that CMPC ended, and we had a lovely dinner, and then ice cream, and then a hurricane tube, and then we went inside to go see it. And I was not prepared for this, for how wonderful the movie is. But I would like Miss Fiora to give her thoughts on the movie first, because just in case her bridge collapses and crushes the troll underneath. And the way that we're going to be doing things is you guys will probably see little notifications up on the sidebar saying...
Oh.
Did she just cut off for anyone else?
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
hear.
Oh.
Notifications in the sidebar saying...
Oh my God! It's a mystery novel.
No! Come back!
The money's in
back.
the.
Oh boy.
Alright, come back! You can blame it all on me!
No. You got to blame it all on Josh. It's part of the engagement.
No, I was just going to say, she forgot to mention that her fiance was doing very suggestive things in that hurricane tube while I was unaware.
Oh, God.
Sorry, what?
Watch my blog.
I'm not sure I want to.
Wait, is that the one that I filmed?
Yeah, you filmed it, and I had no idea what he was doing because my hair was going all over the place.
Oh God, I lost that part.
I can't take you people anywhere.
Okay.
It's not my fault. Blame him.
How about I blame Canada?
Oh god. And then are weird.
Well, she did say Fiora to go first. Should we continue? Oh,
Yeah, well, she said keep
Internet
going
took
with
a
the sketch out.
poo. Well, silly old bear. Why did the internet have to be a silly old bear?
she's back.
Okay, that was
I'm sorry, you all saw that the shot was there.
Yes. It appears that I'm an internet of very small mind. Oh, bother. Oh, that's the side.
Well, Silver Quill, you are prone to wander.
Wander. I wander over yonder.
Oh,
Wonder over yonder.
So notifications will come up in the sidebar over when someone wants to join on a particular topic or provide a rebuttal. So we're going to start with Fiora first. My dear
Okay.
Fiora.
Way to put me on the spot there, and then call me the troll under the bridge. I see how it is.
No. I was worried that a troll under the bridge would get squished when the bridge collapsed.
You're the first person I've ever met to worry about trolls, but my thoughts on the movie. Well, there was a whole lot of nostalgia playing for me because Winnie the Pooh was kind of the first cartoon I really got to remember watching as a kid. And then it went off the air.
Ah.
But also, my general thoughts were that they were trying to tell the story of Pooh and their friends and adventures, but also do so in a way that would bridge the gap between the last generation who watched the end of that particular cartoon and a new generation seeing it for the first time. So, in my eyes, Maddie kind of represents that new people full of hope and the idea that they can do anything, and Pooh and company encouraging this. Whereas Christopher Robin represents people trying to get back in touch with that idea that they can't, that they're restricted and restrained and constantly have to do what others tell them to do and haven't really listened to the lessons taught to them by what I would equate to their imaginary now made real friends that they had when they were children.
I like that. Reconnecting with something that you feel you've lost. I think that's really one of the big themes of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like we've sort of lost some of the nice little innocence that Pooh Bear represented. Like, I remember someone saying that a lot of people hate Mickey Mouse. Some people just don't like his voice. Some people just think he's stupid. Some people just wish he'd put a ring on Minnie already. But I've never met a single person who hates Pooh.
Well, I don't really think there's anything to hate about Pooh.
Yeah.
Pooh is a friendly, easygoing simpleton who doesn't really see the need for anything overly complicated. He just wants to have a good time and eat honey.
Oh, bother.
All right. Thank you, Fiora. That was very insightful, and I liked it a lot. All right. My dear Dr. Wolf, your thoughts, my good sir.
I had my fair share of watching Winnie the Pooh growing up. I was probably 3 or 4 when my older siblings first showed it to me. And yes, it is the kind of movie that can appeal to a wide range of kids. I imagine parts like the Hefflumps and Woozles scene is what really stuck out to me when I was that young. But there was plenty from this modern film, Christopher Robin, that really stuck out to me, that really brought me back to that young age again and seeing these characters for the first time. Winnie the Pooh is almost pitch perfect. I believe it is Jim Cummings who does his voice nowadays.
Yes, he also does Tigger.
Yeah, I know. It's uncanny how well he's able to match not only the pitch, but also the mannerisms in everything that he does. And I'm so very glad that they nailed that character so effectively. Jim Cummings has such a wide range of talents, and that he's able to do this character as well. Just bravo for that. I will say that his Tigger impression is good, maybe great, but it doesn't quite reach that original feel like I was hoping for in certain ways. Like in the original, when he's getting into his little song, you know, the wonderful things about Tiggers. Tiggers are wonderful things. And he's going all this bouncy and all this energy, and he's just going a mile a minute. The bouncy, 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 fun, 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 fun. You hear that exact same song in the new movie, and you can tell Jim Cummings, he's trying to capture that same feeling, but there's not anywhere near as much energy. It's definitely slowed down. And it kind of took me out of the moment. But it's only just a few moments like that in the performance that were like, well, it's almost the original, but not quite. Most of his performance of Tigger I did enjoy. It's just little things like that that took me out.
I understand. You had a personal thing about this movie that happened to you recently that you wanted to bring up.
Yes, there was a very, very personal thing that I am hoping to discuss, but I think I should save that for later. I wanted to make sure everybody else gets their chance first, because what I have to discuss, it may take a while.
Okay. All right. So, E.G., I can see that you had a big old smile with the wonderful thing about Tigger's song.
Yes, I had. I mean, talking about Winnie the Pooh in general, it has to be like, when it comes, everybody will just say that Mickey Mouse will always be the #1 icon of Disney, and he's the front man of Disney. But for secondaries, it would have to be Winnie the Pooh personally, because it's grown from very short, like from 3 shorts into a movie around the 70s, and that was Walt Disney's last approval of the next animated film before he passed away. And over the years, Winnie the Pooh has become a much more very favorable series for a lot of children to watch. And this one particularly, Christopher Robin, this movie really, really put me on the lines of interest, and made me wonder, like, are we really going to learn about one thing? Were we going to learn more about Christopher Robin himself? And I didn't expect that it would take place about his adult life. And I had the strongest feeling that it was gonna lead to those painful moments in life, times when adults had to forget about their youth and start living their difficult tasks to go for, and not being able to to enjoy what you've always wanted to. For me, it's always best to bring your childhood with you, and it's more than life to there's more than life to what you have. And throughout the movie, it really showed that Winnie the Pooh still believed that Christopher Robin would still remember him, even if it was many years ago. You might change your life, but you're still gonna be the same person. You might grow up, but you still have the same personality as you always had as a child.
Hmm.
And as for the song, wonderful thing about Tigger, when I heard that song once again in the movie, I had the very largest smile I had in my whole life. Well, I like my smile was like going like through my. It felt like it was like squeezing through my cheeks because I was like, oh my god, hey, this dog, I couldn't take it. This is so sweet. I do like to thank my family, my mother, who got me into the series when I was 6. Loved Winnie the Pooh with all my life, and I always bring it with me. And since I played Kingdom Hearts, that game really shows Winnie the Pooh in its best and its glories.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna kill me again. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, trust me. With Kingdom Hearts, it portrays Winnie the Pooh at its finest and heart touching. And along with the movie, I did shed some tears. Now this was my first time. Now this was my second time watching the movie with you guys, but I did warn you that it's a tearjerker.
Oh, I went into it knowing that I was going to be shedding the buckets. I just wish I had remembered to bring tissues.
Yes, poor Bliss was shedding tears. I had to hug her twice. Yeah, because yes, there are those moments that you will find the smallest things that will hit you very hard.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Bliss, she had a comment on Pooh. So, Ms. Bliss, what did you want to say about Pooh?
I wasn't crying that much. Shut up.
Oh, come on. I was crying. I want to hug you.
It's liquid pride, totally different thing. Well, I should give context that originally as a kid, I didn't watch Winnie the Pooh that much. I would watch it every other day. And this was only out of encouragement of my mother because she specifically wanted me to watch the more earlier episodes that introduced Tigger and kind of introduced Pooh, I guess, because Pooh would have this little song every time he gets up in the morning. And yeah, that was when my smile, my first big smile came to light, was when he started doing the song of waking up, down, touch the ground. And I remember I was mimicking the words. I couldn't stop myself because when I was a kid and my mom had me watch it, she wanted me to do the exercises with Pooh, and I would.
Oh, you're so cute.
I would stretch down, touch my toes, turn around, follow his lead. That woke me up in the morning, and I was beyond amazed that the movie even remembered that first thing from my childhood. A Pooh was up, down, touch the ground. So that was my first big smile. However, yes, E.G. is correct. When the first tearjerker for me came, honestly, I didn't expect myself to cry that much. I really, really didn't. But in the moment, even not being a Pooh fan, this scene specifically made me cry because the moment where Christopher Robin is engaging Pooh about his life and his job, and that he doesn't have time to be looking for his friends. And Pooh is asking him all these questions like a child. He's innocent, naive, he doesn't understand what Christopher Robin does. All he understands is that his friends are in trouble, and he doesn't understand why Christopher Robin isn't helping him. Why is his suitcase more important than his family and their friends? And in that moment, after he asks about his colleagues and having to let them go, Pooh asked him, "Did you let me go too?" And then that moment, my heart kind of cracked a little bit.
I think the entire theater gasped.
Yeah.
Again, it's the simplest dialogue that will hit you very hard.
Oh yeah, for this scene, I'm gonna actually specifically ask what you guys thought of this scene later. So this is
Okay. Well, then that would be my biggest tearjerker of the entire scene for me.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
yeah, for sure, the the whole part of up down touch the ground.
I can imagine little baby Blissy doing it. I was dying. Oh my gosh. You need to make an art piece of it. You need to make an art piece of it.
Oh, don't make me do it.
I will commission it, woman.
Oh, you're evil. Josh, she's spending money. She shouldn't be doing that. She'd be saving for your wedding.
Ouch. Low blow, woman.
Simply
I know how to
money.
control it.
Stop, don't come back.
I'm kind of with Josh. Stop, don't come back. Oh, wait, we already used it. Too late.
All right. So, thank you, Blissy. All right. My love, what did you think of the movie?
I didn't quite have the strongest connection to Winnie the Pooh as several other people here. I mean, I remember seeing a couple episodes here and there, but I never actually saw the original theatrical Winnie the Pooh. I never saw, like, the only thing from my childhood that I actually remember from Winnie the Pooh was Winnie the Pooh, The Search for Christopher Robin.
Oh my gosh.
And how freaking terrifying it was. Okay, but yeah, so watching this, I knew my job was just going to be having to comfort Ari, and before the movie even friggin' started, she was destroyed. Yeah, there was a trailer for the live action remake of Dumbo, and it did the lullaby, and she was already gone.
Okay, my mother sang Baby Mine to me when I was like very, very little in order to get me to sleep. Okay?
Oh no, that song breaks me too. And the fact that they're doing a Tim Burton style, they're telling it through the eyes of people instead. Still, they sang the song. Oh no!
I'm just gonna buy the song. That's it.
So yeah, a bunch of stuff. Yeah, so yeah, a bunch of stuff. It was interesting to see. I like Ewan McGregor as an actor. Whenever he plays a character, he's always likable. He kind of has that Tom Hanks persona. It's like every character he plays, you like him.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first part. This is his first role where I wanted to punch him. I really, really wanted to punch Christopher Robin. It's like, how can you be this deliberately obtuse?
I'm not going to disagree. I literally was like, how has she not slapped you and handed you divorce papers yet?
Because it was 1947 or so.
How has she not slapped you and handed you divorce papers yet? I'm sorry, I understand it's 1940, but she's well within her rights at this point.
Yeah. I think that's what they were alluding to when she said, I want to stay here at the cottage for a little while longer. The separation of sorts.
Yeah, and it was... I am a little disappointed that Rabbit and Owl got removed from most of the movie. Because I like Rabbit's neurotic personality, and I enjoy Owl's I am so intelligent even though I know nothing what I am talking about. That would have been so fun to have on that adventure, honestly.
Like a rabbit trying to make sure the papers were in order, and then Owl Owl being like, oh, I can make these papers even better because I'm Owl.
It's like, oh, I've heard of this before. It's a dingle hopper.
Dingle hopper.
Nuke headcanon accepted. Owl and Scuttle are cousins.
But yeah, eventually he does redeem himself in the end. There's I like how they defined I like how they defined a woozle.
No, yeah.
It kind of had that Mary Poppins feel towards the end. And I said it as a good thing. I really did enjoy that part, and just thought it. Yeah, this movie was it was a lot of fun. I'm glad I saw it.
Yay. Good, because I would have made you watch it anyway.
Wait, wasn't it my idea to watch it?
No. I knew the second that it was announced.
No, to watch it at CNPC.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, because it didn't come out in time for my birthday. Oh wait, no. It came out in time for our anniversary, but you weren't with us. That's what it was. That we weren't together. Yeah, it came out exactly on our anniversary, and that would have just made my day. Like just going to see that with him. Anyways, continuing on to our final burb contestant. Silver Quill, what did you think of the movie?
Well, it was thoroughly enjoyable, but I thought maybe I'd become a bit of a curmudgeon. Because as all this was going on, I'm looking to my left and there's lightning bolts going. And over to my right is Aramau going. And you know that on the inside, Josh is going. and here I am. I'm just like, yeah, you pansies. And I take a drink from my soda of bitterness.
You.
I really enjoyed how they showed the journey Christopher Robin took of a bitter growing up. I mean, the world asked a lot of him.
Yeah.
And so I too felt a pang as you see someone talking down to Winnie the Pooh, rejecting Winnie the Pooh's love. I'm going to quote Red Dwarf here, also in regards to Winnie the Pooh. That's something no one should ever have to see.
Aww.
Of course, this was after in Red Dwarf, Winnie the Pooh just got a firing squad, but you know. I must show you this episode now.
I really think you need to show us all this episode.
Yes. Like I said, bitter. Although I guess I should express my own experience with Winnie the Pooh. My earliest memory is not the cartoons, but this live action piece that aired daily on Disney. It was actors in full suits.
Oh my gosh!
Was that the Book of Pooh?
No.
Okay, that just sounds inappropriate.
The level of spasm in her voice is beyond words at this moment.
I thought it was like having a fever dream when I remembered that. I love that thing.
No, I remember it, and I was like, wow, how did this not terrify me as a child? Because before I went to go see the movie, I told some friends, and one of them said, oh, let me know if there's sort of an uncanny valley to it, you know, seeing Winnie the Pooh and all that in full CG with this rendered fur. I had no trouble with it. Mostly I was thinking back to those full actions. It's like, nothing could be more uncanny than those filthy spawn of Satan. Because they're quite terrifying. No. What else do I remember of Winnie the Pooh? Of course, my family often quoted, oh, I must go to my stoutness exercises. And that was it for a good while. I remember ABC had like the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
No.
But I think I only caught that once or twice. So I'm perhaps not as invested as Winnie the Pooh, but I too loved his childlike, innocent jokes that are strangely unintentionally profound. But I found that for me, the first half of the movie, I've seen a lot of stories of the workaholic who's lost touch with their inner child, or the person who just doesn't know how to connect. I empathize with Christopher Robin, but I knew we were retreading old ground. It was about the midway point where he starts to get into it and is now having to have that push-pull between what's reawakening within him versus what the world is demanding. And you could feel his frustration when he has to leave his wife and daughter again, and it may be too much this time. I mean, you could tell he knew what was happening to him, and yet he's like, but I have to do this. You know, it's that feeling of responsibility. And I like that he did that throughout this movie. He didn't shirk responsibility; he adapted it. He found a way. It's not an either or. You have to have your inner child, or you have to be a responsible adult. You can find the balance, and that's why I like the second act. It was also the idea of, oh my gosh, these things aren't just figments of his imagination.
Yeah, remember that Tumblr theory going around that what's with all these internet theories that everything is like someone's imagination, or like someone's in the hospital and is dreaming things up. It's like all those really stupid dark theories.
Oh God.
I'm sorry. You lost me at Tumblr.
Anyway, continue on, Silver.
That poo on Tumblr is what I want to say. Oh wait, that just sounds wrong. Yeah, it's funny. That's poor Winnie. He has such an unfortunate name. The Book of Pooh sounds like you need to get more fiber in your diet.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if I can add anything more than what's already said. Yes, I can. There is one uncanny valley element for me, and that is the 100-acre wood. Which I was kind of marveling at my own reaction. It was like, I'm really bugged by how damp, gray, and cold this place looks, because all of my memories of it, whether it be the live action Felt Spawn or cartoons, it's always this vivid, lush painting of just life incarnate. And seeing it taken to this is like, I'm sad now. I'm not like Ari and Lightning Bliss levels of sad crying, but I'm frowny face. Me.
Frowny face.
I was gonna ask, does the 100-acre wood have a mind of its own?
I think that it my personal theory is that it reflects the inner workings of Christopher Robin's personality and mind. The more he drifts away from it, the worse it becomes.
I can really see that.
Anyways, so Silver, do you have anything else?
I'm tempted to summarize that scene from Red Dwarf, but it'd be grossly off topic.
I'm sure you will post it in the Skype chat, and we'll all have a wonderful time with it. All right.
My turn. Laugh.
My turn. Winnie the Pooh was my childhood. The only other it was Winnie the Pooh and VeggieTales, with the occasional smattering of Barney, because I had a crush on one of the kids.
Am I allowed to cringe at the last two?
If you'd like, I don't care.
Not for VeggieTales, for me.
Anyways,
VeggieTales was forced upon me. I wanted to cry.
I'm sorry, hon.
And then I couldn't eat vegetables. Moving on.
I'm not gonna. Never mind. Winnie the Pooh. I saw the movie when I was 3, and at that point, I was hooked. I had a Winnie the Pooh bed set for the greater part of my childhood that I still actually own. I have the comforter and I have the pillowcases and everything like that. I refuse to let anyone take it away because, 1, it's still flipping comfortable, and 2, it's so ingrained into me. I watched the original movie. I watched the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, the animated series. I watched that Felt horror. I even remember one of the songs from it. That's how much I enjoyed it, because I was weird. And I also watched the Playhouse Disney show, The Book of Pooh, which is a green screen, completely puppet show. So it's basically humans controlling puppets with their like full body puppets, and it's all done on a green screen. And it was really cool looking, and I loved it. I actually still have the DVD of it somewhere lurking around because I loved it that much. So going into this movie, for the last 5 years or so, I can't listen to anything Winnie the Pooh without crying because it just hits me that hard. And that's why I knew I couldn't watch this without Josh. So everyone else has their big tearjerker moment. And pretty much all of them have the same one. And we'll get to it. But mine is a little different. Mine came before all of theirs, before they all broke. Or Silver just kept sipping his cold-hearted brew of curmudgeon-y.
So bitter.
Yes, so bitter. So bitter. You know how I was saying earlier how the 100-Acre Woods seemed to be an extension of Christopher Robin's mind, and it reflected his connection to his childhood. Well, when the door opened again, when Pooh is going through the door to London, Pooh says, "Christopher Robin," the door opens a little bit more, "are you finally home?" That killed me. That was the moment. Like, the big crying scene, I still cried too, but that was the one where I was like, I knew the game was over. I was done. It won. It had all of my love. This is actually perhaps one of my new favorite movies of all time. That's how good it was for me. So, just Winnie the Pooh just means so much to me. When I go to Disneyland, that's the one picture I want to get is Pooh Bear. I still have a stuffed Pooh Bear that I keep next to me when I sleep. It just embodies so much protection, innocence, just something sacred that many people lose that I never want to. And this movie did a good job of highlighting it. I realize that this movie is not for everyone. But for someone who has to battle between being a responsible adult and enjoying their inner child, like most of us are, because we are big adults, it really hits home.
I would like to note that I refuse to adult. That's why I play video games and review ponies scientifically.
Do you pay bills?
I hand money to my roommate to pay bills.
Okay, you're half adulting. I'll give you that.
You can still adult, but as long as you have enough time of yourself to enjoy what you always wanted to do in your childhood.
Yep. Oh man, I'm gonna start tearing up talking about this myself. Okay,
Josh.
I need to move on to a different topic. So Josh brought up a scene that really he found like cinematically very intriguing. There's a scene like on the cusp of the first act to second act transition where they return to the 100-Acre Wood, and the fog that has been encasing the woods and that I think is what was hiding Pooh's friends gets just so terrible and horrible that they are going around in circles. Josh, your thoughts on the fog scene?
Yeah. It's pretty sad when Christopher Robin does more masterful horror than most horror movies nowadays.
God.
Just the techniques that they use, the cinematography, the noises, the vagueness, the ambiguity, just the way it's shot. It was unbelievably good.
And all because of Heffalumps and Woozles. Like, okay, I need to go back and rewatch that scene, but I kind of wanted to know, did anyone else hear an instrumental of the like a slower version of the instrumental of Heffalumps and Woozles around that scene?
I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, because that's usually a technique nowadays to make something like epic or interesting. It's like, notice how a lot of trailers have like pop songs played at 1/8 the speed.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yep.
Or
No.
everybody wants
I was gonna say.
to rule the world.
Or there's that freaking what a wonderful. It's at the Wonderland trailer. What a
wonderful world.
Or it's or that 1/8 for Maleficent. That 1/8 Once Upon a Dream.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah, it's starting to become a cliche.
Personally,
I had to agree with that.
I've always just been a fan of Inception and their played music. Bom, bom,
Of course you would.
bom, bom.
All right, Fiora had a little interjection that she wanted to put in.
I mean, when you say that, what comes to mind for me is fate has been cruel and order unkind.
Ooh. What was that one from?
That's Lullaby for a Princess.
That's Lullaby. That's the thing I did on stage with sign language, and I wish that and shenanigans.
Sign language. Oh,
She gets way too excited about that.
I taught a deaf class for 4 months. I had to sort of learn sign language from the ground up, and I got good enough at it that I could sign without an interpreter and teach like history and stuff.
Okay.
I had to learn involuntarily because my grandmother was deaf, and she's the one who got to babysit us while mom was working.
Ah.
So she just put Post-it notes for the sign on everything, and therefore it would be the weirdest thing for me to go over to her house, and the TV's playing, and we're hearing it, and she's watching the captions, and then when we need to talk to her, but we don't talk, we turn and we make motions at her.
Although, would it be the ultimate irony to have to do sign language for the song "I Saw the Sign"?
Oh my goodness.
That would
So
Get
the
out.
The level of hate right now.
Dear Lord Silver. Dear freaking Lord.
All right, EG, you wanted to talk about Winnie the Pooh and Kingdom Hearts?
Oh yes. Well, to get this joke out of the way, since Josh said that he wanted to beat the living crap out of Christopher Robin, then basically Sora is a better portrayed version of an adult Christopher Robin. Okay, like
yeah.
I know that Sora is still in his mid-teens, like he's like 15, probably 16 right now for the third game. If you remembered in the second game, after completing the 100 Acre Wood missions, yes, that scene, he leaves. Winnie the Pooh asks, "Will he be coming back?" And that's when Sora tells him, I'll always be right here in your heart forever and ever." That scene
You're making me cry.
touched me. It touched me so hard. Again, this is why Winnie the Pooh would have to be my number 2 favorite mascot of Disney. It has to be like the second. He has to be like the second Godfather under Mickey Mouse.
I prefer him over Mickey Mouse. Anyways, Silver, you wanted to talk about Kingdom Hearts, Pooh Bear.
Well, I do, but first, I just want to say thank you, EG, for that image of Pooh as the Godfather. I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. Oh, Papa.
Not in that way, but yeah.
Okay, well, can someone do a fan art of that, please? Please do.
Why do I feel like there should be a fan art of Lightning Bliss sitting on a log and Silver Quill walking up, and Blissy is the one with the red balloon?
Aw.
Oh, why do you put me in that situation? Why?
Because you know you want to be there.
Also, I think a good one would be like, leave the gun, take the honey. You know.
All I know is with Kingdom Hearts, maybe this is just a side of different grove, because I got my friends in college hooked on Kingdom Hearts when it first came out. And yes, I'm that old. I was in college when Kingdom Hearts came out. Me. But everyone was like, can we get back to the combat? Can we go back to hitting things with a key that unlocks their death? I mean, I remember how soothing the theme to Winnie the Pooh was as I played through those levels.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't want to be enraptured in this calm. I meant to be in combat. Harumph. So yeah, just the weird dichotomy of all these other levels are bash Heartless and unleash fire and swap out Donald because he's an ether pit. But 100 Acre Wood demanded that you chill out, and my friends and I at the time didn't want to, and yet Kingdom Hearts would surpass that in the second game with Atlantica and the musical numbers.
No. I'm done with that.
Here's the thing.
My side.
Well, yeah. Let me talk. I want to talk about the Kingdom Hearts Pooh now. Okay, so the thing about the Winnie the Pooh areas is that they always give you great stuff for completing them, and the mini games weren't terrible. It's just I thought the Tigger one was really, really cheap. Yeah, the Tigger one was really, really cheap, but yeah, everything was very chill, very, very nice. In Kingdom Hearts 2, the mini games got a little more action oriented.
Mhm.
But they also became really, really fun. Like you looked forward to going back to the 100-Acre Wood.
Hello, somebody I don't know.
Oh, and it was also very sad. Yeah, it was also very sad because the basic plot line for those that don't know is that Pooh forgets all of his friends because the Heartless did damage to the book, and so whenever Sora returns pages to the books, he restores his friends' memories. He restores not only the friends but Pooh's memories of the friends. And it's not until you get the last page that Pooh finally remembers Sora.
I swear, they better bring 100-Acre Wood back in the third game.
See, I think that one was. I saw this one comic one time. Sora came up to Pooh and he's asking, Pooh, what are you thinking about? He's like, oh, I'm just considering how to say goodbye to myself because all my friends I've had to say goodbye to because they've all gone away, and so I must be the next one to go away too. So I have to think of how to say goodbye to myself. Think. And then the next panel's like, what did they do to you, Pooh?
That was in the cut. That was actual dialogue from the first Kingdom Hearts.
Stop! I'm so glad that I never got past Destiny Islands. Yes, I'm that bad at it, so I wouldn't have to deal with that. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, but I think we got very off topic.
Well, I can get you even further off topic because I'm still thinking about the Grand Godfather Pooh. I have this image of him overthrowing Mickey Mouse. Oh, bother, Mickey! It seems you need a bath. No, Pooh, not the bath.
Okay, since you said that, Silver, when you look at Pooh's silhouette, he kind of has the same head shape as Mickey Mouse, but his ears are a little smaller.
Yeah. All right.
Give him some cement shoes, Piglet.
All right. So we covered the fog scene, which was really, really intense. Now, the big scene that Lightning Bliss already helped us cover a little bit, where it's right before the fog scene, actually. It's sort of encompassed in it. Where Pooh does not understand the briefcase, and the scene goes like this. Pooh's like, what's so important about the briefcase? And Christopher Robin's like, it has a lot of very important papers. And if I lose these papers, then people could lose their jobs and they could be let go. What does let go? It means that you'd never see them again. And they just aren't there anymore. And then Pooh asks, did you let me go? And Christopher Robin said yes. You could hear like the wave of anger and the wave of shock and horror, and just I think I heard some teenage girls crying aside from me. Somewhere else in the theater.
The theater collectively had a reaction.
It was wonderful. It was like it was like one of those great twists, like if you were in the theaters to see The Sixth Sense the first time the twist was revealed, that kind of thing. So, so we have Lightning Tigger really, really, really wants to talk first because she's bouncing all over the place because she's the only one. Bouncing.
She's the only rainbow unicorn.
I'm the only one.
Bliss could use her tail like a bouncing tail.
I totally
Real
could.
Lightning Bliss, please stand up. Please stand up.
Please stand up. So, Bliss,
The wonderful thing about Blissies. Our Blissies are a wonderful thing.
now you have to make that one too.
Oh no.
Hey,
Okay.
Anyways, so Lightning Bliss wanted to speak first about the "Did you let me go?" scene.
That scene. I wasn't so much angered, but the the heartbreaking part. That again, I'm not a big Pooh fan, and even my childhood, I wasn't a huge Pooh fan, but metaphorically speaking, it broke my heart because he was basically saying that to himself, to his childhood. Yeah, I let you go. And I mean, I'm basically just put myself in that scene, except it's me telling my younger self that. I can imagine my little self talking to me saying, "Don't you like playing outside anymore? Don't you like to just sit and draw and daydream and pretend what it's like to be something else?
Oh, I'm doing
Did you let that go?" And I'm asking myself that over and over and over in my head as that scene is still unfolding. And I had to ask myself, did I? I'm happy to say no. I am still an inner child. I tend to bounce from 18 to 7 to 12 and back up to 32. But it breaks my heart to know that sometimes we do forget about our former childhoods and those things that help us to make life worthwhile. Because believe it or not, back in the day, I played outside. I didn't have this thing called the internet.
Blasphemy.
I didn't have these Vigima games.
I'm gonna regret saying this, but who are you and what have you done to Bliss?
I see. I would veggie out as a kid in front of the TV. Yes, I would. I had no problem with that. But when I didn't veggie out on the TV, I drew a lot. I colored, I crayoned, I painted. My mom had to keep me from coloring on the walls sometimes. I would go and play outside and pretend I was something else. It was the one thing I loved to do was pretend to be something else. I did not like being a human. Humans don't run fast. They can't run on all fours. They can't fly. They don't have wings. My sisters loved playing house. I detested playing house. We're already in a house. Why would I want to play house? It made no sense.
Someone's in this house.
I don't know. If you play house now, it might be a medical drama.
I saw what you did there. That was one of my favorite shows. Anyway, but yeah, that scene, hearing your adult self saying, "Yeah, I let you go. You're more important to me anymore." Tis a lie. Your childhood helps to remind us of the better things in life, of why we continue to live, having fun, and seeing the positives in everything, or try to anyway. And when hearing Christopher Robin say that, it made me think he had given up on life and that he only lives to work. Ooh, that stung a little. He only lived to work.
I mean, Blissy, we do what, 60 hours a week? 70?
Give or take.
Yeah, but we enjoy our work, right?
I enjoy it. I admit I enjoy it, but yeah, then there will be some people talk, or my husband, or even some of my friends who say, "Hey, do you want to play a game with us?" No, I got to work on these factors to get this commission done. Sorry. Hey, we're gonna do a live stream soon. You want to join us? I can't. I have to finish this commission, and I got a video project to work on, and I'm already behind. I notice I've been doing that a lot lately, and that, I admit, that hurts sometimes. And I want to try to make more time for everybody, but
this movie is a reminder, a big one, that no matter how busy you are, you can afford on a daily basis to take an hour and do something else. It definitely was a reminder to me that if somebody asks, "Hey, you want to do this?" and I look up and go, I'll find an hour. What day do you want? And so to me, that was what it was. That was what it was trying to tell adults in the audience was, wake up, stop working yourself to death, and enjoy the fruit of your labor, or go do something that is not just work.
Preach.
that moment, yeah, right there, slapped me in the face.
That moment brought me to tears. That was when I said, holy crap, I need to make sure that I work with others more often.
It was
Or
that
at the
moment where
very
I
minimum.
realized that I needed to look out for take better care of myself mentally and spiritually, and be kind to myself and reward myself once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at the other moviegoers and thought, wow, I hope all this crying isn't disturbing them.
You're a killjoy.
Yeah.
All right. Did I?
You know what? I've got fried chicken on the stove. I know what I'm eating tonight.
Oh. Well, see, this is why I'm a killjoy. Everyone wants to consume me with fava beans and nice Chianti.
Oh my.
Screw that. I'm having mashed potatoes and Cajun rice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Going full redneck on this.
Oh my gosh, I want mashed potatoes right so bad right now.
Is Cajun rice redneck? What?
She's going full south.
Okay.
You never heard of putting Cajun seasoning in fried chicken batter? It's the bomb.
Hey, Silver Quill, you better fly faster. I hear banjos.
All right, so Josh, did you talk about your sad moment?
My sad moment. I didn't really have a sad moment, honestly.
How dare?
See. I get labeled a killjoy and he just gets a how dare. Oh, I see how it is with you couples.
No. Those villains from Kingdom Hearts. What do they call them? No hearts. What are they called?
Nobody.
Heartless.
They're what?
Nobody's heartless.
They're the heartless. They stole his heart.
Okay, because it's really funny because the heartless are actually the hearts, and the nobodies are actually the bodies. So the nobodies are heartless, and the heartless have no bodies, which is really stupid. It's a Tetsuya Nomura. What were you thinking?
I still like the idea. Though.
I don't play Kingdom Hearts. I never did. They took your heart. You're a big old grump.
All right, anyways, but yeah, so I think that the reason that I didn't cry was because I wasn't as invested.
How dare?
I think you were too busy comforting Ari, who was in her 5th bucket of tears at that point.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
Which is the nicest thing you've ever said about me.
Did you let me go to?
Huh? Would you let me go? Wait, who are you asking?
Silver, since you want to talk, I'll ask you.
Since I want to talk, isn't it? That's always an assumption, I think. That was one of those wonderfully innocent, deeply insightful, but you wouldn't know it right off the bat because it's spoken with such childish innocence. There's no accusation. He just wants to know. And I think, but it hits Christopher Robin like super hard. But I appreciate that same innocence from Pooh is when he's talking with Christopher Robin's daughter. Although off the top of my head, I forget her name.
Madeline.
Well, he says to Madeline.
You mean a Madeline?
That oh yeah, that's right, a Madeline. That you're the most important thing to him. Your happiness is everything, and she can't believe that. So I appreciate that Pooh served as both a challenge to Christopher Robin and a reminder to a Madeline.
That's a Madeline. Oh my gosh, that was so cute.
Mm-hmm.
Although
you can't hate them for that.
By the same token, I love that they appreciated she had won Wimbledon.
Yes. That was so cute. They're like, she won the Wimbledon. I was like, what's a Wimbledon? As they're applauding. It was so cute. They were just so supportive. Gosh dang it.
That's who they are.
Except for Eeyore.
Thanks for noticing. Eeyore was my mom's favorite. She had a wristwatch with Eeyore on it for, I think, 20 years before it just finally forever died.
Oh,
My time ran out.
Ah,
not good.
all right. Fiora, what did you think of Did You Let Me Go To?
Excuse me, what?
What did you think of the scene where Pooh asked, "Did you let me go to?"
I'm trying to remember that scene. And
Fiora, I should point out, you were pretty tired after CMPC, so at one point I thought I saw you nodding off just a little.
I was exhausted. There were some. I didn't nod off. I did zone out for like 10 minutes and then got abruptly ripped back into the movie. At this, if I remember correctly, it was. I started to really zone out during when the movie kind of went Silent Hill.
Oh,
And-
so right at this. Okay.
And then I got ripped right back into it. Yeah. I could not ignore the fact that Pooh literally looked at him and asked, "Did you let me go too?"
Yeah.
There's no ignoring that. We drift. And I looked up and I realized that there were certain things I'd let drift or let go of that there's no getting them back. And I went, yeah, and it was just this reminder to me because Blissy will attest to this. I get decided I'm going to do something and I will literally move Mount Everest to get it done.
Yes, I can kind of see that too.
She's a crazy lady.
I will go days without sleep now to avoid having to let something go I consider valuable. So to hear that from Winnie the Pooh was gut-wrenching enough that even being exhausted and completely zoned out put me right back into the movie and made me pay attention for the rest of the movie to every word.
Aww.
So that's my thought. I missed like the build up and lead up to it, but just hearing that from him was enough to just rip me back into here and now, present time and space, and go, oh God, they're gonna do this to me the entire movie.
Mm.
Fiora, I just want to say you're adorable and I love you. All right. EG, what about you in that scene?
Again, when I saw the movie in its first weekend, I heard a lot of people and myself gasp when Pooh asked that simple question to Christopher, and it was shocking to me. It felt like I skipped a heartbeat,
Aw.
and I I did shed at least one tiny tear, but it reminded me in a harder way that I should continue what I've been trying to do, and it's been struggling me to no end. That I should be able to not neglect so much of who I am originally, and not overwork myself for too long. And it hit me. I don't want to. I don't want to let go of my family. I don't want to let go of the closest friends I've known in my life. I don't want to let go of my childhood. I don't want to let go of all the good things I've done when I was a kid. Those were the things that really reminded me so hard that, again, a life is huge. What you're experiencing is pretty small, but you can go on by walking through other roads. And I even got this message from my mother too, which it also hurt me. And before this movie, like years before the movie came out, my mother once have said to me that there are times that I did act like a machine, like doing this, doing that, not going out and seeking out opportunities because I just want to get things done sooner, or overwork myself to be the best. There's more time to do all that instead of just doing it for one day. And even in my college years, there were I even missed out a lot of 3 years of fun when I was in college. I really missed so much stuff I wanted to do for 3 years.
You know, I can relate to that, EG.
Mm.
My mother has actually, like a few months ago, she said, "Hey, we're gonna have a birthday party for, I think it was a family member or some sort." And I told her specifically, "I'll try to be there, but I got quite a bit of work backed up. I got to work on."
Mm-hmm.
And she is a full-time working nurse. She works at a hospital for disabled children. I quote her, "Emily, even I take breaks."
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think for you and I in particular, Bliss, we're in an industry where taking breaks can cost us if we take the breaks at the wrong time or for too long. And we never know when the right time to do so really is.
Mm.
Because if we take a break at the wrong time, we end up missing out on something big. Or if we take a break for too long, people move on to other things.
That is true. But again, thankfully, I have one close friend of mine who she was able to get me to places that I missed out. Thanks to her, I was able to catch up on everything that I missed for the past 3 years. Well, from 2012 to 15. Those were from 2012 to 2015. Those were the years I missed out when I was in college. But after that, my friend got me into catch up on a lot of things for a whole year, and didn't miss much. And with the movie Christopher Robin, even the ending actually made me shed tears more because it reflected me of my past that I didn't really miss so much because it reflected on what I wanted to do. I want to be able to take breaks, organize myself from my work and in my life. That way I can make people happy who have always been there for me. And recently, like, oh, this is just awful. There are times I really want to quit my job because it's keep giving me days on the most important in days. Because on the 22nd of September, my grandfather is turning 100, and I have to be there for him, and I work on that Saturday. So I had to tell him, get me out this day. I want to see my grandfather. But that scene did remind me that it did remind me that I should not let go of what I love, because it's still going to bring me into a lot of happiness. I don't have to rely on too many things. I don't have to rely on just one thing. There is such thing as relying on something too much. I learned that the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
And balance it out. That's what I can say.
Yeah. Silver, you had a point about Inside Out that you wish to make. I'm intrigued.
Well, it actually ties into that whole don't depend too much on one thing. While we were watching this, in the back of my head, I was remembering Inside Out and the imaginary friend.
Yeah.
Bing,
Bing bong. Oh gosh.
Bing bong. And
friend you like to see. Bing bong, bing bong.
And in a way, they had to let him go for her to grow up without giving up what Riley without giving up her core self. And so it's not something I think this movie got to tackle, but it's a question to ask everyone. Is what do you think of the balance of you have to let go of childish topic or a character, but not give up the enthusiasm of a child? Because case in point, we there are all these negative stereotypes about people who never want to let go of their childhood to the point where they shut down their modern life to try and retreat to that past. That's unhealthy. But then, as we saw with Christopher Robin, giving up entirely on your childhood and sacrificing that is also unhealthy.
Yeah.
Oh, that is true. Mentally unhealthy as well.
All right. That is, yeah. Relying too much on either can be catastrophic. Like, we have those man children or women children who never really grew out of their tantrums or entitlements, or their mom do the laundry for me. But then there are some who are just so wrapped up in making money or doing something that they think is so important that they forget what is not just truly important, but what makes them human is the interaction with other people that you love and just being there for someone else. Money isn't everything because it's going to change hands no matter what you do with it. You can lose it in one day. You could also lose a person in one day, and frankly, they're worth more.
Also, just want to throw out a quote by C.S. Lewis about all this. Mostly, I was thinking of him during the scene where Christopher Robin is reconnecting with his childhood and pretending to fight heffalumps and woozles, with a wonderful commentary by Eeyore, Christopher Robin. But C.S. Lewis once said, "When I became a man, I put away childish things, including the fear of childishness and the desire to be very grown up." So,
I like it.
that's all I got.
Oh, C.S. Lewis, you wise, wise man. Now, Dr. Wolf, I think we've been building up to your personal moment as well as to your reaction to the sad scene. Why don't you enlighten us, my dear?
I believe this movie did have a very profound effect on me when I first saw it. It was less than 2 weeks ago. I mean, today is Monday, September 10th, so yeah, less than 2 weeks. But it wasn't until today in which the movie had a far deeper meaning. And it's been stuck in my mind much more. I don't know exactly how that coincidence happened that we decided to talk about this movie this particular day, but I'm sincerely glad that we did, because I don't know, there's just so much more to it, at least for me. That very first moment when Christopher Robin is talking to Pooh about how these papers are so important because he's trying desperately to determine who needs to be let go in order to keep everything else afloat, in order to keep things as efficient as possible, and trying to explain that to a child. It's both adorable and yet it leaves you dumbfounded. The way Pooh answers, "Did you let me go too?" And the way it leads into this whole story at the ending, the whole climax, where he's trying desperately to explain how there's so much about his particular department that is worth saving, that there is still great value in everything that these people do, and that he himself is giving all he can, being at his very best, and trying to explain that to people who are pretty much only looking at the bottom line and thinking about, we have to determine what will be profitable for the long term. It really touched me then, but it had much more of an effect on me today. I don't know how many of you know out there, but I've actually been working a career as being an accountant for about 12 and a half years now.
Woo!
Oh my goodness, it has been such a long time. And it has been with this one company the whole time. It's been pretty much my life. I mean, think about that. 12 and a half years I've been working for that one company, longer than it took me to get through first grade all the way through senior year of high school. That's a very sobering thought. This morning, my boss calls me into his office and explains to me that I am no longer going to be working full-time. He wants to shift me down to part-time. I had no idea that that was even coming. I thought that I was giving the best that I could give, trying to be efficient in everything that I've been doing. I've even been working at that job longer than anyone else in the entire department. And this is the first time since I began working at this company where I felt that I don't matter.
Oh.
And I was reminded so much of that scene of Ewan McGregor standing in that office, pleading with those old men. And trying to look through his papers and trying to think to himself, who do I let go? In my case, my lady and I have been so very blessed. We are completely debt-free. We do have our own home. And thankfully, I wasn't let go. I do still have a job. We have sufficient for our means. It's not so much that we really needed that full time, but I'm thinking of what Ewan McGregor was going through, because he was trying to determine all the other people who are depending on him. And in our case, my lady and I are trying to support her father-in-law, who's now permanently in a rest home. Or in the case of my sister, who late last year went through a divorce, and even now is desperately trying to move into a new home while getting into a nursing program, and needs so much support in order to make it through just these next few years. And realizing that I'm no longer able to give as much as I could before. I'm thinking back to what Christopher Robin must have been thinking, looking through all those papers. And I feel like I'm in his shoes right now, trying to think, what do I do? I don't know exactly why this happened to me here today. And I'm not entirely sure what the next step is. quite frankly, I don't know what kind of life I'd live where I don't have as much to do in my day. It's hard for me to kind of let that go. Big part of this movie is trying to teach people about maybe you should let some of that go.
See, Bliss and Fiora, you should let some of your busyness go.
No.
No.
No, no.
Here,
I'm not trying to advocate for that. My
here,
lady and I have sufficient for our means. We have been very blessed in what we have. We both still have jobs. But it's very difficult for me to even imagine a life where I'm going down to 20 to 25 hours a week when I've been working this 40-hour office job every week for the past 12 years. So that was my personal story about why Christopher Robin really had such a profound effect on me.
And I'm glad you shared it because it's a real life application of what this movie is trying to embody.
Oh yeah.
That was actually really hard for me to hear, Doc.
Oh, me too. You have no idea.
I
Honestly,
am surprised.
Honestly, a part of me, like I said, a part of me really wants to quit my job because one, I've barely been touching animation for 6 months now, and I really want to get back into it because I graduated for that career purpose, and the job I'm working on is at a really crappy theme park that sooner or later it might go bankrupt.
so
I'm about to be dead, guys.
maybe I should tell Doc the opposite end of the spectrum for me. This movie, from my perspective, what Christopher Robin decided to do with that situation validated what I chose to do with my situation 3 years ago at this point. Wow, I'm getting old. So 3 years ago, I was working to become a tenured professor at Rutgers.
Woo!
And 3 days before the tenure contract would be decided, and I, by all means and all points, say I had completed all of the tasks required to have tenure and be a full tenured professor. I had worked since I was 22 to get to that point. I was nearly 30 years old at that point. I walked out. They didn't fire me. I walked up to my director's desk in the middle of a conference call with the board and put a letter of resignation on her desk and walked out with no real explanation because I hated it. And I will fully admit I make barely a fifth of what I did as a professor doing full-time streaming and YouTube and all the work I do. But it is beyond words rewarding to do it mentally and emotionally. And I wake up in the morning and go, what do I need to do today? Oh, I get to work, and I get excited. So perhaps you should take a cue from Christopher Robin and look up at things that are actually really important to you. If work is really important to you, that's fair. But look at something that's really important to you, something you really want to accomplish, and use the time you've been given to find a way to make it your new passion that also supports your family.
I mean, even I can admit that before I became a full-time content creator, I used to work at a Subway. I had a associate's degree in 2D animation under my belt. Took me a little longer to get than I would have predicted, but I had it. But here I was, untrained assistant manager at a Subway, and I got written up for the third time because one of my employees failed to do the task I asked of them. And because I'm the assistant manager, that still falls under as my fault. Respecting, that's Subway standards. I asked my manager when she was talking to me about taking down some of my pay, me being reduced to $7.25 an hour, and I wasn't even getting full time. And here I am, still living with my parents. I've been married for almost 3 years. We're not getting anywhere. I mean, my husband was still working at a fast food restaurant called Whataburger at the time, and here I am working at a Subway and now getting my pay cut down and being demoted down to a normal employee again. And I had to ask her, what am I doing here? And I made the call and I quit. I was very scared when I did that. Told my husband and my parents what I did, and I told them what I was going to do. The first few months of being a content creator were a little rocky, but thanks to a lot of encouragement from friends, including Doc, gambling about going to conventions, taking tips and advice from friends, improving my ability in my editing. It's become not only a full-time job, but it's become a job where I actually make a stable income. That I'm earning a lot more than I ever was at Subway. It's a dream job for me. I never thought I would get to say I work from home and I make a fairly decent living. I may not have my own house, but I am getting ready to move into my own place for the very first time in my life. I don't believe I would have been able to accomplish that had I not quitted my former job. What I have to say about Christopher Robin, one of the things I loved about when he confronted those older men in their meeting was to look at the situation from a different perspective. And yeah, sometimes that's what we got to do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
No, I just feel very. See, everyone's focusing on the career part of it, and I totally get why. It's a huge part of the movie, but what's hitting home for me right now is that the idea of friends. Christopher Robin's friends never gave up on him, and you guys never gave up on each other. And I hope that continues for so long, because I've come to meet so many sweet, wonderful people that are so different from me and have very different ways of thinking, different ways of processing, different ways of expressing themselves. I mean, Josh and I are very different, but we're still getting married. And you guys don't give up on each other unless just at all. And so, and I know that I feel very, very, very privileged that I get to be here with all of you. And that for the past year of my life, I've been able to meet all of these new people that I would never have even heard of before. Because I just wasn't as into the brony fandom. And I'm just so happy that I have you guys with me now. And just that we're here talking about a movie that has touched us all. that in different ways, at different magnitudes, maybe not even as much at all, but we're here together, not giving up on each other. And I want to give all of you hugs again.
Oh, same here. If my friend I'm Shadow wouldn't even be, if she gave up on me sooner, I wouldn't even be here right now. I wouldn't even meet any of you guys at all.
So I truly appreciate you guys just putting up with me going to see the movie that I desperately wanted to see. And I just truly appreciate all of you guys.
Me too, Ari.
Okay, we can probably end the stream now.
Well, here we've gotten very, very serious and emotional. I feel the need to ruin this with a highly inappropriate.
No. I'm gonna ruin it. I'm gonna ruin it. It's my turn to ruin it. I'm gonna ruin it. Hey Ari.
Yeah.
Ponies, babe. You need them.
Oh my gosh, Fiora.
I even self-censored myself.
There we go. That's the definition I'm looking for.
Together, Fiora. Together, our ship name is Aramau.
Aramau. No.
Excuse me. I need to go murder a cute bunny now. Just to decrease the level of cuteness in the world by like 10%.
What was it? What was that quote from our collab from Aramau? What was it? My dear, there's enough glucose in your blood to activate a car or something.
Yeah. My dear, there's enough glucose in a car to. My dear, there's enough glucose in your system to start a car.
Don't have a heart attack or he'll zap you.
Oh yeah, he went over and over exaggerated with the defib. So, Doc, you want to wrap us up?
I can wrap things up, yes.
Before I get dehydrated again.
I did want to thank everyone for joining us here this evening. This has been quite a healthy and enlightening discussion.
It's good to be helping.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I do hope that I'll get the chance to see that movie again one of these months, maybe when it comes out on Netflix.
And
We'll
it might
see.
be out on DVD pretty soon, somewhere around November or December.
Josh, mute.
I think he's
There we go.
He was talking with his brother.
Well, all right. Well, I am glad that we were able to get through all of this in one piece. And until next time, I am Dr. Wolf, and we all look forward to hearing from you.